Good morning. Welcome. Today we're going to work on part 2 of our series called If You Got to Choose, would it be who God would choose? Sorry. If you got to choose, would it be who God would choose? So today is part 2. So yesterday we talked about the fact that Samuel was called by God to go and anoint a new king who will take over when Saul is gone. And when he went, Samuel immediately saw one of the brothers and thought, oh, surely it's him, because he was tall and he was great stature. And so he thought that that would be who it is, but God informed him that God does not look at the outward appearance like man does, that God looks at the heart of man. And so today we'll continue on. So we know that Saul was seeking to kill David, and David went from Bethlehem and went into Adullam, into a cave there. And when he went, his family decided to follow him and those who were his followers. And in 1 Samuel 22, and this is one of my favorite parts, it says in 1 Samuel 22, 1 through 2, and this is from the Message Bible. So David got away and escaped to the cave of Adullam. When his brothers and others associated with his family heard where he was, they came down and joined him. Not only that, but all who were down on their luck came along. Losers, or vagrants, some of them say. Vagrants, and misfits of all sorts. David became their leader. There was about 400 in all. Now, I wanted to see what a vagrant was, and this is how it's described. It's a person without a settled home or regular work who wanders from place to place and lives by begging. So some of these men that came to him were vagrants. Then the word misfits, and it says misfits of all sorts. It is a person whose behavior or attitude sets them apart from others in an uncomfortable, conspicuous way. These are the kind of people that went to David to help him. Those that we would not choose, or that most of us wouldn't choose because of the life they had or were living. Yet God saw something in them that he knew was valuable. He chose them as they were. Don't we say, come into the church, come as you are? Well, yes, we do. And that's what God was saying to them. Come as you are. And he chose them. Why did he choose them? God chose them because he knew that he could change them into whoever he knew they were supposed to be. Isn't that what he does for us? Not a one of us were cleaned up before we came to Christ. Most of us were a mess. And yet God knew what our hearts were going to be. He knew that we were going to be followers of his. He knew that we would say, yes, Lord. And so he cleans up our hearts. And some of the areas of our hearts aren't always as clean as they should be, or it takes more time to clean them up. But just as these vagrants and misfits, this is what, are the people that God calls. If you read 1 Corinthians chapter 1, 26 through 29, it says, and this is important, for consider your calling, brothers and sisters. Not many of you were wise according to the worldly standards, otherwise to the people in the flesh. Not many of you were powerful. That means strength, physically or by the standards of this world. Not many of you were of noble birth. I don't know about you, but I didn't know anybody that was of noble birth. I didn't know anybody like that. But I love also how it says in 1 Peter 2:9, when we follow after Christ, we are a royal priesthood. See, he is the king. He's the King of Kings. And we are daughters and sons of the King when we turn our lives over to Jesus Christ. We are God's special possession, it says. Can you imagine? I just love the thoughts that I am God's special possession. To declare the praises of him who called us out of darkness into his wonderful light. And then verse 27 says, but God chose what is foolish in the world to shame the wise. God chose what is weak in the world to shame the strong. God chose what is low and despised in the world, even things that are not, to bring to nothing things that are, so that no human being, no flesh and blood, might boast in the presence of God. Not a one of us can boast about who we were, who we are. We can't boast about any of that. The only thing we can boast about is Jesus Christ who lives within us. That's what it is. We are part of the misfits that came to Jesus Christ. So tomorrow, let's continue on with a little bit more, and we'll do part 3. God bless you and have a good day.